That's the kind of stories I love. It's not about good guys and bad guys. It's all very gray, but very honest. And I think, this writer, John Polano, when I was in trouble, the thing that I talked about the last time, I came on, I was in depositions. I'd done right after season 1 of The Walking Dead 10 years ago. A buddy of mine called me up and he said, "Hey, listen, you want to come do this play reading tonight?" I'm like, "Listen, buddy, I'm in depositions all day. That's the last thing in the world I want to do." He said, come on, you got to come do it. So I agreed to do it. I show up. It's the last thing I want to do. You got all these theater folks around. I see John Polano there. He's sitting there. I go, what have I got myself into? We read this thing out loud. And I had never heard writing like this. I mean, I think he's the best American playwright since David Mamet. I said to him after, I said, let's do this. He said, we could do it at a teeny theater here in LA. It's just 40 seats. I said, I'm in. Let's go. I'm in right now. We did it. The play exploded. It won all the awards in LA. Then we moved it to New York off Broadway, blew up. And it was always this passion project for John and I that we would make it into a movie. And, 10 years later, we finally did. Everybody who had ever done the play has roles in the movies. My dog who was backstage at the original play, he came and was in the movie. This dog played him in flashbacks. It was a real labor of love. And I think you said it when we talked about it the first time. They just don't it's an old school movie. It's funny. It's a thriller. It changes on a dime. And I really think it's we're proud of it, man. We're proud of it. I'm really glad that you watch. I knew you'd like it.
It's about everything I love, friends and my daughter and kid, a kid, I really love friendship. I'm a fucking student of friendship. I love, I was telling the podcast people, I went to the carnival in my hometown Saturday night, and people were asking me, like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you here? Do you have a limo driver? Where's your security? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I came up here, again, as a labor of love. My buddy runs the carnival. He runs that park. I wanted to see him. But when I got there, they didn't want anything from me. They didn't want to hear nothing. All they wanted was to take a picture and love. And they were giving me love.
And what a beautiful opportunity.
My God.
What's better than that? I was just home a couple of weeks ago, and I got to go to the Nordhoff high school football game in my hometown. I live in a small town of Ojai, California. There's no place I'd rather be. Take my kids to the game, and to see the community, be out there. We spend so much time on the road, so much time where we're just we got to be somewhere every second. We got to be on. It's just great to just to be around folks and to get to connect with people. It's such a gift, and I know that's who you are, man. It's what you do in everything, and we're really lucky, man. We're really lucky that we get to just the fact that you go and take a picture with somebody means something to them. I still to this day I can't believe it.
I couldn't believe it myself. I couldn't believe it myself. They didn't want anything. They didn't want to talk about nothing. They just wanted love. They were happy to see me after 40 years. Tons of people I hadn't seen since high school. My friend's band, who the first time I saw, my buddy I went to dinner with before the carnival, looked at me and he goes, it's like being in the shed. When we were in high school, he had a shed, and we would go there and all of us would play the drums and shit. Yeah. And I turned around and go, no, this goes back to the rec center in the 7th grade.
Wow.
When he was playing the guitar and his fucking guitar string broke. And I died of laughing. I'm like, why am I laughing? That dude's up there doing something. I'm over here a spectator with these jerk-offs, drinking beers and smoking pot. And I became friends with him, and now we're dear friends. And his mom was there. You know what it's like to see his mom after 30 years? And I went up to her and thanked her for all the meals, all this shit she put up with it. And her shed, they had a shed. We painted the walls, Pink Floyd the wall. Yeah. They had no heat. There was no fucking heat back there. And we would go back there when it was 20 below.
No place to grab it.
Yeah, with our drinking gloves, with the fingertips out, with the fucking drinking gloves, and that was it. Those are what kids do in Jersey. That's why I moved back here. I wanted my daughter to have this life. Friends. That's people who live and die for you. People who come over and talk to your kid. At 3 o'clock, this fucking basement is packed. That's right. Once they get off the bus, they all walk down here.
Yeah, I love it.
And they fucking play and they talk. I got to come down with apple juices and tell them to knock it off. Don't touch the guitar, you fucks, because the kid up the corner. My uncle was a guitar player. I don't give a fuck. Don't touch the guitar, cocksucker. He's a great kid. They're great kids. But
Yeah.
this is my life. I love this shit.
I love it, and you're right. You know, I think this thing about you know, when I look at the guys I grew up with, they're still my best friends in the world. And even being here in Baltimore, I'm closer to DC, so every chance I get, you know, I'm back there with Dougie, to all the guys that I grew up with, and you know, it's I think as you get older, especially when you start to have kids of your own, you recognize you're nothing. Your friends. You know, it's funny. I'm doing this show right here now that I told you about in Baltimore. And the other day, I was working nights, and during the day, I shot down in Baltimore, and I needed to go see my friend Dougie Thornell. I went to his house. I get outside his house. I just lean on the horn, right? I just lean on the horn outside his house. I see him look out the window like, who's this? And then he sees me. He goes, what are you doing? I didn't even tell him I was coming. I say, hey, Dougie, I'm not going to tell you the scene, but I was doing this crazy scene. I mean, my character, the thing that he was doing that day was nuts. I said, hey, Dougie, this is a kid who was raised on television. He had a milk crate that he used to sit on. He'd sit like this far away from the television, knows every line from every movie. And I go, Dougie, this is what I'm doing in the scene today. Give me, what would I say? What should I say here today? He gave me this line. I'm telling you, Joey, it was fire. I mean, it was just fire. I gave him a hug. You know, it's like we're nothing without them. Like I would rather talk to him than any writer, any director in Hollywood. You know, he gets it. He gets it, and he gets me. You know what I mean?
It's a great feeling, man. When you could, and then when I got back here, I had some friends that were fucking jackals. Yeah. You know, there's some friends that haven't stopped the fucking grind.
They're still doing it. Yeah.
And I had to tell them, like, listen, guy, it ain't that type of party no more. You know, call me when it changes, you know. But there's a handful of guys that have accepted me. We talk constantly. Tonight I'm going to a friend's house to watch the Dodger fucking San Francisco game. You know, people are like, why aren't you doing comedy? Because I'm filling the void with other things right now. I'll get back to comedy eventually. Yeah. But right now, I'm in a thing that nobody knows, I haven't seen in years. It's called a community.
That's beautiful, Joey.
I'm part of a community. I was at a softball game, my daughter's softball game last night, sitting on the side. 15 parents, they're passing Entenmann's donuts around. Yeah. You know, it's a different fucking world I'm living.
Do it for your daughter, man. I mean, that's the thing. There's no job more important than that. It's the most important job you're ever going to have, raising these kids. It's the biggest gift. It's the only chance you're really going to understand beauty. You're going to understand failure. You're going to understand hope. You're going to the love is so big and so beyond anything. And I imagine that's why you're doing it. It's the only reason.